You do not need more makeup products. There's nothing wrong with what you have. What you do need is a new technique. Today I'm going to give you guys every single one of my makeup tips, tricks, hacks, whatever you want to call it. If I think of it, I'm going to say it to you. Consider this video a masterclass and thank me later. I'm also not going to name any products in this makeup routine. I'm only going to give you techniques. First, going to start with a glowy base. I'm using a glowy luminous skin tint simply because I like glowy makeup routines. I also have dry skin, so I lean naturally more towards a glowy look because matte makeup looks dry me all the way out. Thank you. Ignore the color match to my neck. We'll fix that later. Next, you're going to take a foundation. I'm going to apply it off camera so y'all can't even clock what I'm using. Your makeup isn't looking good in photos or in person, to be quite honest, because you are simply not using enough makeup. Someone had to say it. I really don't get the point in buying makeup if you're not gonna use it. I would honestly rather use more makeup and go through it quicker and have it actually look good than use a tiny little drop of it every single day and my makeup never comes out how I want it to. Next, I go in with contour. I use more of a bronzer contour, like a bronzer, because I am fair skinned and cool toned. It is very easy for bronzers to look orange on me. So this is kind of dependent on your skin tone. And you always want to place this higher up than you think. So I first make a little ducky lip and see where the hollows of my cheeks are. We're gonna place this above where my cheeks hollow out. This will not only lift your entire face up, it'll also make your cheekbones pop. And then I also keep it pretty close to my hairline on the temples of my forehead. And then I make a V shape at the bottom of my face. This is kind of narrow in my face. We're creating shadows here, okay? And when you're blending this out, you don't want to drag it down. You want to just stipple it upwards. Keep everything in an upward motion. If you want your face to look snatched, do not drag it down or it'll literally drag your whole face down. You'll look droopy. Droopy-yana. You'll also notice with my brush, I'm not swiping or dragging anything. I'm literally tapping. Stippling, if you want to be professional and call it that. You never want to drag it because that's when your makeup will separate. It won't settle how you want it to. I put my blush on the highest part of my cheekbone, right here. I always take the excess onto my eyelids as well. I always put the bronzer and the blush color on my eyelids. I think it makes everything look way more cohesive that way because then those colors are flushed throughout your whole face. Next, we're doing concealer. This is personal preference, but I always start with the color corrector, but literally just this much. You don't need a lot. You don't want to stack too much product under your eyes. That's when you'll start creasing. I just blend this out on the darkest part of my under eye circles. This is just to color correct, neutralize any of those undertones I have. And then I take my actual concealer. Sometimes I use two different shades. I'll use a brightening one on my under eyes, and then I'll use one that's my exact skin tone everywhere else. The one I'm using today is kind of just a mix between the two. So I first put it on my under eyes, and I bring it up the nose as well to kind of reverse contour the nose. So with concealer, you're kind of carving out the shadow. I also put a line on the side of my eyes. We're gonna drag this up and lift our eyes up. Women naturally get hormonal redness around the nose, so I also put concealer on the sides of my nose to cover that up. And then to keep the center of the face bright, I put concealer on my chin as well. I also put it on the lower part of my cheeks to reverse contour the cheek contour we put on. And then I go down the side of my nose with concealer to brighten the sides so that it looks skinnier. And this is called reverse contouring. Absolutely changed my makeup game. If you have not tried reverse contouring, I definitely recommend it. Now, immediately after concealer, I go in with setting powder before any creases can form under my eyes. If you do get any creases, you want to blend them out before starting your setting powder. You're gonna have absolutely no creases as you're setting because then you're gonna set the creases and they're gonna be there all day. And I don't really believe in baking. This is partially because I have such dry skin, so if I let a bunch of powder sit on my face, my under eyes will get so dried out and it'll literally age me 10 years. Really just tap in the powder until there's no powder left. That's my favorite method. I feel like it still looks airbrushed, it looks blurred, and my skin is still happy and hydrated, so that's just what I do. And I feel like this is a known fact in the beauty world, but I'm gonna say it again in case you haven't heard it. You use setting powder to set your concealer and your foundation. I didn't put any setting powder right here because that's where powder, blush, and contour are gonna go. If you stack too many powders, that's when you start looking cakey and crusty, dusty, musty. Thank you. Next, we're going into powder contour. I take a small eyeshadow brush and I do a line down my nose. Yes, girl, we are contouring our nose today. Don't be scared. You really just do two lines down the side of your nose. Sometimes I connect them to my eyebrow as well. You don't want it to be too harsh though. Snatch my nose right up. I will also take the same color on my eyelids. The powder bronzer will also be used as eyeshadow. I also rub a bit on my lower lash line just to add some depth and dimension to my eyes. Now we're going in with powder bronzer and we're putting that in all the same spots. We put our cream bronzer earlier. I've definitely had my fair share of scary bronzer moments. I think the main hack with powder bronzer is to only use a bronzer that's 1 to 2 shades darker than your foundation. So right now I'm using a light medium shade. I also really like luminous bronzers or hydrating bronzers because, like I said, if you didn't know already, I have dry skin and bronzer is the one product that will really cling and emphasize your dry patches if you have any. And for blush, I just use whatever shade matches the cream blush I put on. So you don't want to use a baby pink cream blush and then use a mauve colored powder blush. Try to get your cream and powder blush shades to match as closely as you can. Again, putting the excess onto my eyelid and also down the nose a little bit. Next, I'm gonna go with a little bit of highlighter. I prefer like a champagne color highlighter. I think a gold warm highlighter looks the most natural on my skin. I put highlighter on the highest part of my cheekbones, almost on top of where I put the blush. I also put it right underneath the arch of my eyebrow. You don't want to drag your highlighter too far out on your tail because that'll also drag your face down. So I just keep it on the highest part of my eyebrow. And then I also put it on my temple right here. So if I were to step outside in the sun right now, these are the 3 points the sun would hit on my face. I think that's the most natural highlighter placement. And then I obviously also put a bit on the tip and bridge of my nose. Now all the powders are on my face. I'm going to set my face. I'm setting with a glowy setting spray. This is really personal preference here. Sometimes I'll go in with a matte setting spray and then I'll put a glowy setting spray on top. If you haven't already learned through this video, I love a glowy finish. So my setting spray is going to reflect the finish I want. And I like putting setting spray on before I do my mascara, typically, because once I put mascara on, if I spray a setting spray, it's like getting my lashes wet and the curl will fall. So if you struggle with your lashes staying lifted, I definitely recommend doing setting spray before anything goes on your lashes. I've just filled in my eyebrows as well. I really just make a line at the bottom of my brow to kind of clean that up. And then I fill in the front a little bit to make them look fuller. Next, I line my lips, and when I put my liner on, I'm overlining just the middle part of my lips. You don't want to overline all the way to the corner, then you'll just look a little crazy. If you do want to overline, I just recommend doing really to your nostrils, like right below. Only the center part of your lips gets overlined. I also fill in the corner of my lips just a little bit with liner, just so my lips look poutier and they come out more because I don't have any lip filler. And then I add a gloss on top, really just whatever I'm feeling on that day. Now I'm gonna go in with a little more eyeshadow. I'm gonna take a lighter brown color and put that towards my inner corner. Your eyeshadow doesn't have to be anything crazy. I do recommend it though if you want to look airbrushed and blurred, simply because it'll cover up your eyelid veins if you have any. And I feel like it just kind of brings everything together. It's like a beige color I'm putting on my inner corner, not super white, so it's not like abnormal. It's still a color you would see in my color palette. Next, we're gonna curl my lashes. If you are not curling your lashes, I literally do not know what to tell you. I feel like this completes everything. I usually look down into a mirror when I curl my lashes. This just makes it easier to get as close to my waterline as possible without actually pinching anything. This is not supposed to hurt, but you do want to get as close to your lash line as possible so you can get maximum lift. Yeah, that looks really. And then also with my mascara, I look down into a mirror. This just avoids a lot of mascara getting onto my eyelid, so there's a lot less cleanup involved at the end. And then if you do get any mascara on your eyelid, you don't want to clean it up immediately. You want to wait till your mascara completely dries down or you'll just smudge it everywhere. I prefer to just wait for the mascara to dry and then you can just kind of flick it off. And then when I'm done with my makeup, the last thing I do is kind of just look and see if there's anywhere else I don't necessarily want to be shiny, and I'll take some powder on a fluffy brush and kind of just mute that area. I feel like I look airbrushed, I look blurred, and it's all in how you layer your products and your technique. I promise what you have works. You do not need to buy a new makeup product every single week. I do have 12 beauty boxes ready for you guys though, so stay tuned for that. But I hope this tutorial was helpful. I hope you learned something. Let me know if you like tutorials like this where I don't even name a product or show you what I'm using, because it really is all in the technique. Bye.